Hello again, you sick, twisted weather freaks, and welcome to another fun filled, action packed, and intellectually stimulating edition of This Week in Weather for January 9, 2016. It was my intention to start up the videos again at the beginning of the new year, but did not have a particularly good holiday season, so other weather things in the background here. In any event, now it's time to start them up again, and it's my intention to restart them on a regular basis once more. Um, Probably, I would think Sunday morning would probably be the best time to do it, and we can go from there. So we're going to try and get these up for a Sunday morning. So, in case you don't know, I'm a DT, the meteorologist that runs the site weatherrisk.com, and I'm the Colonel of Confusion, the Captain of Chaos, the Commander of Catastrophe. A lot to talk about in this edition of This Week in Weather, so let's get right to it. Obviously, our topics are going to be the classic winter storm or snowstorm pattern, depending on how optimistic you don't or want to be. And then setting up for the East Coast for the next 2 weeks. Lots of possibilities here, but also some concerns as well. So I don't want to go crazy with the hype here. I know some folks have used the term snowmageddon or snow pattern developing like that. I don't see that pattern developing yet, though it could turn out that way. We are watching four, I guess, distinct short waves in the southern stream, and each one of these short waves represents a chance for a significant snowstorm. And of course, we'll also talk about what could go wrong. So we'll start out by taking a look at the North American Teleconnection Pattern Index. This is something I developed on the Weather Risk Snowstorm page, which right now is undergoing a little bit of maintenance with my web hosting site. So I thought I would present it here in this one. And you can see we have four different teleconnections that we're looking at. The EPO, Eastern Pacific Oscillation, the PNA, the Pacific North America Oscillation. Notice those are the Pacific ones you see here on the Pacific side. And or actually what we could do is do it this way. And we can see right here, this is your Eastern and your Pacific. Remember, this is all the Pacific right here. So, and over here is your Atlantic side as well, as you can see right there. So, that's why I have them color coded. Now the PNA stays, as you can see, quite positive all the way through. The EPO is positive, then it goes under some attack by the Pacific jet enhanced by the El Nino, so it goes to neutral. You can see down here, this is the neutral one down here, so it goes neutral. The Arctic Oscillation stays negative all the way through. It begins to go neutral by day 16 to 20. The NAO very strong the next 10 days, and it moves back to moderately strong in 11 to 15 day and 16 to 20. So that's how I see the pattern shaping up here with those teleconnections for the next, I guess, 3 weeks. If we take a look at the snowstorm matrix, well, again, this is again from the snowstorm page for January 10th, 11th, to 12th. The Ohio Valley, this is green, represents minor snowfall, as you can see in here. And you can see, so I've got some in the Ohio Valley, Upper Mississippi Valley from the current event, and the Clipper lows which go through there. The Great Lakes will see a pretty good snow from the Clipper system coming through on the Monday, January 11th. And then also New England could see moderate snowstorm from the Clipper low when it explodes or develops off Cape Cod. So again, this is a moderate snowfall, not a big deal for those areas. And then of course in the medium range, the 13th, 14th, and 15th, we have another weak Clipper low that goes to the Great Lakes there. Everybody else is shut out here, except that also maybe for some additional Clipper lows, snowfall in northern New England. And then in the 7th, 16th, 17th, and 18th, we have a pretty good snow shot in Tennessee, the mid-Atlantic states. And I don't know about New England here with the 16th, 17th, and 18th. I may change that later on, but I'm not certain about New England yet. So we'll get into that as well. So let's take a look. See. All right. This here is from the European model here, the regular European, not the high resolution from Weatherbelt. And as you can see, at 96 hours out, we have our big polar vortex shown right here, as you can see. Let me get my marker out. Right here, here's our NAO. You can see that right there. There's the first short wave, and this is the second short wave. Now the EPO is already under attack here from the energy coming in this way, so it's gone to neutral. The PNA ridge is still pretty strong here. At 144 hours out, the 15th of January, the first short wave, which we saw here, is now here, and it's gone neutrally tilted. Now, early on Saturday morning, the European developed this first short wave into a significant winter storm for the Carolinas and Virginia, the lower Maryland Eastern Shore. The 12Z run does not do that. So again, this is a problem we're having with the models going back and forth, trying to figure out Which short wave is the big one? We can see on an enormous block here, notice right here, there's the NAO, very powerful, and there's short wave number 2, and actually here's short wave number 3. So a lot of energy in the southern stream here, no doubt about that. And of course, our vortex is still very strong. I do want to point this out. That's still wrapped up on the European 144 hours in here. This is actually, you can either call it the polar vortex or the 50-50 low. Sometimes they're the same thing. And usually when they are, that's often a good sign for East Coast snowstorms. All right, now this is taking a look at it, breaking it down. This is the 72-hour. Here's our clipper low. You see it coming through here on Tuesday morning, which is going to hit New England with a moderate snowstorm. You can see it right there. And there's our Arctic high coming in. Here's the vortex. And again, now's the clipper low in the morning of the 13th in the Gulf of Maine. So New England's getting hit pretty hard with a good snowstorm, and so is New Brunswick. And there's our polar vortex sitting very nicely in this area right here, spinning around. And here's our shortwave number 1. So that's all fine and good. We go to the next slide. Now this is at 96 hours. Again, we broke it down so you could see it individually. Here are the two short waves, whether or not they're going to phase for the 15th on the lower mid-Atlantic coastal areas. If the vortex is in that position, if these two features were to phase, we don't know if they are, but if those two features were to phase right here, let me get my mark out. It's not doing it. There you go. If they were to phase, the position of the vortex here would mean that this would be a southern, lower New England, lower mid-Atlantic storm, not a New England storm at all. And there's our blocking pattern here, the very strongly negative NAO. So, but we don't know if they're going to phase. I'm just saying that still is a possibility, even though the 12Z models took it away earlier. And we can see this. This is what the model was doing this morning. Okay, this is the early Saturday morning. So let's see if we can mark this up for you. This is the 0Z Saturday European. Okay. And again, notice it's got both systems here. Number 1, there's the second system, and there's our huge vortex. So the low can only go in that direction if anything phases, and that's what it does. That's why this low on the 15th to 16th hits North Carolina, hits Virginia, hits lower Maryland, Eastern Shore, maybe southern New Jersey and Delaware, then scoots on out to sea because of the position of the vortex and how these two systems phase. That doesn't mean it's right. That's just what the model is doing from early this morning. All right, good. Like I said, the 12Z run takes that away. That's what the system looked like from early this morning. Pretty impressive. And again, this is the updated European from Saturday afternoon. Again, the system's phased, but it's off the coast, so the low develops way out over here. I'll mark her out so we can see it. Yeah, it develops way out over here, and it goes out to sea. This is system number 2. It looks very vigorous, and there's the third system. Okay, that's fine and good. Now we go to the next one here. I have 126 hours, again, the afternoon European, and notice the low is now developing here, and this system is coming in late. See, they're coming in differently, not aligned, and as a result, the low develops late and scoots off the coast. Maybe that's correct, maybe it isn't. Look at this enormous vortex. Look at this monster storm sitting here in Labrador at under 970 millibars. Very impressive system there. And the next slide, this is the European model, the afternoon ensemble. And you can see it has something off the southeast coast here for Friday morning. Don't know if it's real, but I'm not going to rule it out completely. Some of the ensemble members do show something there, some don't. So it's a 50-50 shot. Then beyond this one, as we go out into day 8 and day 9, this is the bigger system. This is the strongest shortwave. Now here's our vortex, as you can clearly see, sitting right up in here. Actually, let me try this. You can see it. There it is, our vortex. See that? And here's the short waves, as you can see, right there. Okay, and what's happening is because this system is so strong here, this flies this direction. It can't go to Ohio, it can't go to Michigan, nothing like that. It's got to go this direction underneath the vortex. That's why that 50-50 low is so important for East Coast snowstorms. And sure enough, there's the low moving out to sea. Everybody gets hit. The European looks like a decent snowstorm for everybody, almost everybody, except maybe for Eastern North Carolina. And there's the system number 3. This is number 3. There's third shortwave there. So like I said, there's a lot of energy in the southern jet stream because of the El Nino. There's no doubt about that. This is what it looks like 192 hours. And we can see again clearly, here is the 50-50 low. There's our, here it is. There's a 50-50 low right there. Okay. And here's the short wave, as you can see right here. Number 3. And there's number 2. There's number 3. And again, because of the blocking, this system can only go in this direction. It can't go to Michigan, it can't go to Ohio, it can't go to Wisconsin. It can only go in this direction. That's why the 50-50 low is so important for East Coast snowstorms, at least for the big ones. And sure enough, the GFS ensemble has something there on the 18th. This may be the best threat of the four different short waves. And by the time we get to 240 hours, the operational European still has a negative NAO, but the Arctic oscillation looks like it's gone neutral, and so does the EPO on the operational run. System number 2 is off the New Brunswick coast. You can see that for Halifax. There's system number 3, as you can see right here. And there's system number 4 in this short wave. So a lot of energy coming through in this activity. Now, what could go wrong here? Well, the first is that the polar vortex in southeastern Canada might split into two pieces. And the western piece, or the western egg, slides west towards Manitoba, Canada, then drops down towards Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois. That would cause the surface low in the Gulf of Mexico to come north and attempt to merge or phase, get pulled north. So you end up with a Millard B, where the primary low goes into Tennessee or Kentucky. Then the secondary low jumps to the coast. A lot of the cities go from snow to rain, but the mountains and interior New England stays all snow. Another concern is that the P&A ridge, the ridge on the west coast, is getting knocked down because of the energy coming in from the Pacific on the El Nino and the enhanced Pacific jet. That would cut off a supply of cold air in the eastern U.S. And the other concern might be that huge 500 low over southeastern Canada pulls out too fast. And this is the GFS is showing exactly what it's doing here. Now, unfortunately, I've got these backwards. Let me go here. This is 144 hours out. Here's the GFS showing what the European is showing. It's got the big vortex, as you can see, right here. Okay, and it's got a nice blocking pattern. There's our short waves, individual short waves. But let me go back here for 1 second. You can see by 216 hours out, there's no block on the GFS at all, the operational run, and the 50-50 low is completely gone. So, and this is why I don't use the GFS, at least operationally, for anything having to do with East Coast storms, because it just constantly screws this thing up. So, once you get within 84 hours, it's a fine model. Beyond that, it's a real crapshoot. So in summary, the pattern is favorable, but it's not certain for an East Coast snowstorm. That's just the way it is. There's a lot of activity in the subtropical jet here. The models are having trouble figuring out how these short waves are going to interact with each other and in the pattern itself. So we could end up with 3 snowstorm threats. We could end up with none, 3 misses or 3 minor events. But the pattern is here for the next 2 weeks, and we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. This is meteorologist DT from weatherist.com. I'll catch you on the Facebook page and on the website.